everyone, thanks for stopping by again. I'm Carla at Bound to Be Vintage, and I am joining the hashtags Thrifty Thursday and Thrifted Treasures today with a combined haul from flea markets and thrift stores. So let me jump right in. I would like to thank Dale at Not Too Shabby Chic and Sheree at Turquoise Streaming for our two hashtags, and I will link their channels below. I went to the February flea market that we have here in Des Moines at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, and I found some good things, so let me show you those first. I'm trying to avoid buying buttons in bulk. I have some obsessions, which will show clearly here today, of things I buy over and over, and if you've watched my videos, you know I'm just finding bulk buttons kind of tedious to deal with. Cleaning them, sorting them, all of that. So I'm trying to restrict it to button cards or individual buttons. So I did find this Bluebird button card, which I've seen reproduced before. This is an original. And I do want to do a very bright sort of floral cottage garden journal at some point. And I thought this would go well with that. So it's just a plain little button card. I found this Lucky Day button card with these two ladies. I have had this button card before and made a little booklet out of it. It was in much worse condition than this one. Really like the graphics in the little Super Pearl button card. So I picked that up. Here's another Lucky Day button card. And this one has a little bit of silver embossing on her dress. It's hard to show without getting glare on that, but that was a unique one. I found this little promotional needle book. I like this image of the little girl on the front. Good fall image. There's the ad on the back. And the little pack of needles inside. I found this little place card, probably for a card party, kind of Art Deco style. And this gorgeous postcard. I just love everything about this. The colors, the inkwell, the quill pens, because I have an interest in calligraphy, so I got that. And most of these items were just $1 or so. Then I got this Needlework magazine from 1923, is what it says up here. The cover was missing. It was $3, and it does have just a lot of great images. There's a lot of color in here. Let me see if I can kind of do a bit of a flip through for you. The pages are a bit brittle, so if they were folded into some sort of journal page, I think they would have to be reinforced. But I think there's a lot of potential here for fussy cutting or maybe just tearing part out to use in a collage. And needlework is just a favorite subject of mine that I just go back to again and again, whether it's a whole needlework theme journal or there's just some element of needlework in a journal that I'm making. Lots of good color in this one, as well as black and white. So I thought for $3, there are just a lot of things that can be used in this. Even this diamond ring ad is a lot of fun. Got dress form. fussy cutting for days, don't we? I'm not sure which magazine this is. Illustrated Needlework, the National Needlework magazine. So let me move that out of the way. Then this next bundle was all in a bag on a dollar table. All of this was $1. And I saw this little fairy. These are iron-on transfers for embroidery. I saw this little fairy and I just really liked that image. So for $1, I decided to pick it up and just see what I would get. And I think that these are just some of the most charming little transfers that I've seen. There's a little elf jumping over a mushroom. See if I can open it up. It's going to do some crinkling, but just fun images. Nursery tales, I guess. Nursery rhymes. So there are a couple sheets of those images. And like I said, I really like that little fairy image. Then there's all these cute animals. And a lot of them have already been cut. Little chicks. These would be great for Easter journals, which I'm not planning on doing, but you never know, maybe someday. This is a cool envelope. Not in the best condition, but it could be reinforced. There were some images printed in green. I don't usually see that. I'm working on sort of an Irish themed journal, so some of these may go in there because I'm using a lot of green. A whole bunch of these Sunbonnet Sues doing various activities. Again, this is a style that's not particular me, but when you get one of these grab bag things, you get all kinds of things. More green. And this, you'll see this little thing says trial. I got it upside down. These are what I cut out sometimes and test to see how well they'll iron on paper. So if you ever try that, look and see if there's a little trial or sample that they give you to test your iron with before you try the whole design to see if your paper takes it well. Here's a pattern for a little doll. This envelope would be very interesting for the right kind of journal. Not my color scheme generally, but a lot of these old Aunt Marthas. Again, another very cute envelope for the right kind of journal. And here's the envelope for the first group I showed you with the fairy. So all that was my dollar deal. This flea market has a lot of dollar tables, and the vendors for the most part are very motivated to move things along, so you can really find some deals. A woman did have a tin of buttons for $20. I didn't want the whole tin, but she said, well, just pick out what you want and I'll give you a price. So I picked these out and I think it was $2. There were these giant leaf buttons, which I thought could make great closures. There was a third one, but it was broken, so I didn't get that. Two big, very pretty carved mother of pearl. I have not cleaned these up yet, so they will look much better when they have a little wash. And then this set of 4, They're a little bit metallic or shiny. They have a pretty high profile, so they probably would need to be on the cover of a journal. They're going to take up too much depth, I think, on a page. I tend to get my journals too chunky sometimes, adding these elements in the interior. I did get just one piece of lace. I like the brown in here. I have a journal I want to do that would be basically the kind of a sepia color palette, kind of a Dust Bowl prairie kind of journal is what I have in mind. So I thought this lace would work well for that. Then after the flea market, my daughter and I hit up I think it was a DAV thrift store, and I got a couple of interesting items. These pages are for stamp collectors to put stamps on. So there are various designs, and I just thought they'd make great journal pages. They could just be folded in half, or you could collage on them. So there are animals, and then the fish, birds and insects. You can see they've got the holes punched. And then the last were the United States pre-cancels. And these have all these fun little squares. So it'd be interesting to do something with that. Whether it's mounting buttons or mounting stamps or doing tiny little grid collages or whatever the case might be. I also picked up this 1987 commemorative stamps book from the post office because it did have a number of nice stamps in it, the actual stamps. And some history, just some interesting photographs. I like this one with the ledger paper and the pen nib. And I like these lace ones a lot. I'd seen those. So I picked that up. And another obsession I have is these Victorian photograph album style books that have the cutouts for photos and they're tied with the ribbon. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. This is probably my 4th or 5th one. But they're just so pretty, the designs in them. And then with the cutouts, they lend themselves to a lot of possibilities. And they usually repeat designs after a bit. So I think we started repeating designs here. But these are usually just a couple dollars at thrift stores. I find them very frequently. And I have a hard time remembering which ones I have and which ones I don't. But I was right, I don't have this one. So that was at the thrift store after the flea market. Then I have a couple more things I wanted to show you. I did stop by St. Vincent de Paul's, Vinnie's as I call it, yesterday. Wednesday is their senior day, so there's a discount. And they had all kinds of other discounts going on. They put certain categories on sale, and there was some Valpak coupon for $5 off a $15 purchase. So I did spend about $10, and I had quite a pile of things. And I'm going to just show you the few that relate to junk journaling. I got this Lady Washington pearl button card with this gentleman on it in really good condition. It was in a little baggie of buttons, and the rest of them were very just nondescript. But for the price with all the discounts, it was worth it to get this guy. And the reason I was particularly interested in this is you may have seen me haul this a while back. This vintage wool sample book for overcoats and top coats from 1935. It's kind of accordion style, and it just has the wool samples. There are a few I'll need to replace. But on the opposite side of each wool sample page is just this patinaed plain page. And I want to do collages, masculine collages on each of these. So I've started gathering materials, and obviously he would be perfect for it. So that's one thing. And then I'm keeping everything I've gathered in this folder. And you may have seen some of these things in previous hauls, this old gift wrap. And then I've got some Kathy Holden stickers I put in here that seem to relate. There's an old postcard I picked up back when I lived at the lake. So this is just my system of gathering for this particular journal, which is going to be a collage journal. So I kind of shop with future projects in mind, and then, like I said, I just have my obsessions. They had a lot of postcards for just $1 or so. Again, there were other discounts. This one I thought was so pretty. There's little gold accents. I even like how the postmark is right there on the front. This will probably go into a flower frog for a spring display. And maybe eventually wind up in a journal. Since I am working on sort of an Irish themed journal, I did pick up some sort of St. Patrick's Day related. Got the shamrocks and the clovers. This is the vintage one with some writing on the back. It says 1910, and you can see it is embossed. This one is just a reproduction. This one I thought was so interesting with all the postage stamps. That's another thing I love is postal images. So it's all Mexican stamps and a little bit of a map. And you can see that's embossed too. This one I thought was very pretty. It's for New Year's, but there's all the sort of Irish images of the four-leaf clover and some drinking glasses and the horseshoe, and it has gold accents too. I'm not sure what language that is, if it's German or Dutch, I'm not sure. And you can see that's an old postcard too. I think it's 1904, not sure. This is another reproduction, but I like the image in the little poem. And then there were these two wonderful envelopes. Perfect for a needlework journal. I'm just hoping that this sticker comes off. I'm going to try heating it slightly and see if that helps. But I hate that they put stickers on these things. And this great old Sears Roebuck and Company order envelope. And like a lot of you, I have the Sears Roebuck catalog reproductions that are from the early 1900s, but they were reproduced in the 1970s. And there are some great images of the Sears Roebuck building and things like that that I think could work into a great little collage or page or flip or something like that. Oh, I did forget one thing or two things from the flea market, actually. I did get this stamp. Again, I'm kind of obsessed with postal type items. This one is from 1973, and you turn it and it puts it on these different things like airmail certified. They do have kind of a more funky retro look rather than the real old-fashioned one, but I couldn't resist that. I thought that was a neat little find. And then I also got at the flea market this little nurse stamp. Get it right way up here. That says nurse. These were from a children's stamp set. You see them around a lot. The pieces tend to get spread out. But with this neat wood handle, I really like the way they look just displayed. And she did stamp very well. Neat little image. And then the last thing I wanted to show you today, I actually got on eBay. Another obsession of mine is letterpress type and printing plates and things like that. So I bought a lot of, I believe it's 10 different letterpress type, and they're all signatures. And I was just going to show you what neat signatures they are. I know a lot of you have the various stamp kits that have all the signatures, and I'm kind of gathering them in letterpress, just so mine are different, and also just to have the letterpress pieces. You know, if you followed me, I bought a little printing press kit and made that for myself. And recently I got a great storage cabinet for all the type. So those are just the fun little signatures. And these I'm able to just stamp like I would with a rubber stamp. I can get enough pressure to get a decent signature. This one's probably my favorite because of his penmanship. So I have all these little signatures now. And again, I think these are fun for making ID cards, faux passports. I've seen a lot of videos on all of that now. And also when I do that book on the men's clothing, I want to incorporate some of these male signatures in there. My daughter said to me, were there any of women, when I told her I got this? And I said, no, I think back when they were using letterpress signatures, women probably didn't sign things. They probably didn't have an important enough role in the business that their signature was needed on something, sadly. So times have changed. I want to thank you for joining me today. Thank you to our hosts for the hashtags, and I'll see you back with my next haul. Please subscribe, like, and comment.